Okay, here we go. Have fun to Mr. Allen Chess. Let's try knight f3 as a start. Have fun in game number 2. Let's try e4. Game number 3. Have fun. Let's try d4. In game 4. Have fun. c4. Right down the line. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's stay flexible. g3. Sicilian. Alright, knight f3. The old Benoni defense, huh? Let's grab some space. And g3, knight c3, d4. Okay. So far, well, I don't know. They could maybe turn into all positional games. Let's see. Let's fianchetto. Where else is he gonna go? All right, let's do this. Musovic, Rasulimo. All right, so knight c3, c4. I'll go knight c3, e4. Ooh, Budapest. Okay, I'll take him. And I will gladly just give that pawn back. I'm not taking him and hoping to hang on to him. Alright, let's castle. Still staying flexible. Now what? Let's just castle. If a6, maybe then I take the knight and try to, I'd give up the bishop here in that one and try to use my lead in development. e4, knight f3. Not sure. Let's go with e4. Okay. Just knight f3. Okay, and now I believe I just want to go with c4, knight c3. Let's get that in. And maybe now I go forward with c3, d4. Yeah, I'm going to take some time out to... Wait a second. My two ideas here are, one, the c3, d4 plan, or maybe rook e1. So that if a3 I'm not going to take, but instead... Or though, you know what? No. I'm going to try and be more direct in this one. Like, if a6, I'll take the knight, d4, I'll try to show my lead in development. Okay. Is bishop b5 a move here with a4 to follow? I'm going to try that. I have to be cautious of the a6 and b5 idea with this move. Okay, so f2 is hit. Got to do that. And knight c3, d4, and knight c3. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So far there's been a queen move, a pawn move, a knight move, all queenside moves, besides this guy. I'm already castled. Black needs 3 moves before they're castled. I'm going to try and attack the king. d4, d5, rook e1, We're going to see. Okay. My idea here was a4. Bishop takes, I'm taking with the pawn. Yeah. In that game, what was I going to say? Yeah, I take with the pawn, opens up my rook. So, alright. So this is what I was talking about. I will gladly give this pawn back. Queen d5 is met with queen e7, defends the bishop and hits him for a third time. So I'm not really a fan of that move. There are some ideas black has with this a5, rook a6 coming over here. I think I get my knight out here. I think in some lines I could be playing knight a4 to interfere with maybe with this a5, rook a6 stuff. Okay. I believe it's d4 here. Let's just go with it. And I'm pretty sure I could just have that on pre-move. Okay. If d4, I'm dropping this pawn, but maybe I don't care about him. Maybe I simply don't care about that pawn. All right, let's be direct. Rook e1, I get another piece involved, and black would just be pawn grabbing. Okay. Let's get my knight developed. If castles, I'm going to play h3, because I don't want bishop g4 stuff. No move here, my opponent still thinks. Okay, so I was on pre-move there. They took, I recaptured. I should probably be doing another pre-move here. If knight takes knight, I'm recapturing like that. Okay, so now I feel like this position can open up favorably, right? d5 is the first one that comes to mind. I have a lead in development, welcoming pawn captures. I could take like this, but I think I would like to open the position up, grab some space, and do it much more forcefully. And if I could have the e-file opened up, great. Let's go with that. If pawn takes, pretty much going to be taking with the pawn. I don't want a queen trade. Oh, they just moved. Okay, so I was saying in this position, h3, so let's do that. If a6, I'm not taking the bishop. Okay. I believe I just developed. Bishop e2. Ah. Okay. Knight b3? Knight b3, and then there's maybe c5 one day. Yeah, that's my first thought, knight b3. Queen here, I'm dropping b2. Is there a way to trap the queen? Like bishop e3 if queen takes pawn, knight b5? The queen's kind of short on squares. Where would she go? Well, actually, forget about that. She doesn't have to take b2. Bishop e3 could be met with knight g4. Let's not do that. But what about knight b5? And if a6, bishop here? Not really a fan of that. Let's do this. It's a reliable home. There's this tempo gaining move, bishop e3, or even c5, which makes the d6 move difficult. I believe black should be playing d6 there. So there was a capture. I was in pre-move mode. I recaptured. Now this file is opened up. I feel like the computer would be reading that I'm, like, and the evaluation is tipping in white's favor tremendously. Like, after castles, I play bishop g5. And I think life becomes very, very difficult for black. I believe you cannot go wrong with inserting that check on an open file. So, hang on. I'm not capturing. I'm not even considering that. So my two main ideas are d3 or e2. See, this makes it difficult on the queen side. It makes life difficult to coordinate the minor pieces now. This space advantage starts to become quite telling. What move should I anticipate? If bishop c4, maybe this is aimed at not getting this move in. Maybe bishop d3. Bishop d3, would I have to one day worry about like queen c7, c4 stuff? If bishop d3, after e6 takes, then I'm still watching out for this f5 square, so the bishop can't play here. What would help free up the black position if this bishop had a new square, like if the e7 pawn and this one were exchanged, and this guy is no longer on e4 but d5, this square is opened up, and then knight e4 stuff, this bishop comes to life. Black is really looking for one more minor piece exchange, and I don't want to allow that so easily. I'm going to go with bishop here. If queen c7, maybe queen to e2. So they castled. I think I should do the same, or should I? Yeah, I should. I was for a moment thinking maybe knight a5, but maybe there's some check. Let's just get castled first. Okay, so d6 it is. I could gain a tempo against the queen, and maybe I should do that. About bishop e3, queen d2, with bishop h6 ideas. Bishop e3, queen moves, queen d2, knight g4, however. Hits my bishop and stops bishop h6. What about knight d5? This is another consideration. I'm chewing on a lot of time. I still think this is right, though. Let's go with it. See where the queen goes. Okay, so now... I was saying bishop here. If f6, that is very, very weakening. Maybe I could put pressure on this pawn. Oh, I have a different idea. I'm going to get my knight involved. I'm going to pinpoint this pawn. I think in the meantime, black's going to go with the kingside fianchetto, and d6 will be weakened. So they're thinking in those third and fourth games, and this one, still in this one. And we do have the e6 break in this one. Okay. I think I just castle. Yep, let's castle. Okay. That was an easy move to make. Alright, they're going pawn hunting. How dare they do that? I thought knight d5. Isn't this queen maybe getting into some trouble? Could she really get away with going after that pawn? That queen. That queen. What about c5? Knight d5, queen takes c4. Rook c1. Queen a4. Now what? I don't really have a great answer to that one, unfortunately. However, what about rook c1 first? If then queen takes here, bishop takes knight with knight d5 to follow. No, that's not working. The queen will just be able to take. Rook c1, queen takes pawn, knight d5, queen a4 still. I don't know what the follow-up is. I have moves like rook takes knight, pawn takes, knight takes here with check, followed by taking on c6. Oh, wait a second. There might be something there. Rook c1, queen takes pawn, knight here with some forking possibilities. The queen could always go over here too, though. I'm wasting so much time on this game. Maybe c5 knight here, though, right? Alright, let's throw in some move. It's going to get messy. This is super duper weakening. Super duper weakening. So now get my knight in here with bishop here next. Okay, so position's closed. How do we adjust? Knight d2 to c4. One of the possibilities that is present on move 2, I could have played c4. I played knight c3. So if there isn't a pawn on c4, this is always a typical maneuver. Hitting at d6, ideas of a5, knight b6 stuff. I think I do go forward with that. What about g4? I wonder if g4 is another move. Let's get this in. Go for the little knight hike. Alright, and I think I want to keep that bishop, so let's back up. Yeah, I like my light square bishop. I like my bishops. Alright, knight h5 it is. Fine. Let's go here. Watches over f4, hits at d6, that's the most direct. No movement in any game. Alright. That's a relief. I might be able to sneak in a water break here. Very quick one. There. If pawn takes, I'll be extremely happy. My opponent is essentially inviting a piece into their position with tempo. That usually doesn't turn out too good. Okay. No movements yet? Everybody's scratching their head. I love seeing that. Okay. Okay, 4 games. Still going at it. Knight g4. Oh, okay. What about knight d5? This square is weakened with that last move. Knight d5, knight takes bishop, knight takes queen, knight takes queen, knight takes knight. Oh man, that's messy. Okay, what about... This is going to get super messy. Bishop here. What about bishop d2? Knight d5, bishop d2. Knight d5, knight takes bishop, knight takes queen, knight takes queen, knight takes knight. Oh man. I really don't want to give up my dark square bishop. I'm not sure. Alright, let's just start making a move. Oh, man. Okay. What about a5 with knight b6? Yes. Okay, my opponent was just saying that their computer crashed. They were disconnected for a little bit. Okay, here we go. This was my idea earlier with knight a4 and c5. The idea with this is not necessarily to stop some a3, b4, but a rook lift. The old rook up and over. The rover. Let's go here with c5 to follow. This could be a very annoying pawn right here on c5. Okay. They're still chewing on this one. They're still thinking b6 is here, and now bishop f4. How are you defending this pawn? I don't think you are. This knight cannot move. This knight will kill him. This rook will kill him. Alright, knight f4. I knew that was going to be played. I'm not really so afraid of him. Should I be? What's wrong with... No, I was going to play knight b6, rook a7. It's inconvenience, but my knight is eventually going to be challenged. What if I just challenge this knight? I don't want to give up my dark square bishop. He's the better of my two bishops. I could always challenge him with knight e2. Keep this knight right where he's at. He can't move. Black would have to work a little bit harder before this knight can move with queen c7, queen e7 stuff. I think I like this. There's no tactics over here. I'd certainly have to consider that more. I'd have to weigh that more if the bishop was still on d7, pointing at h3. Not the case here. They're still thinking, okay, here, and now this is game over, isn't it? Knight takes pawn with check. The king is running for his life. Could take the bishop. There wasn't a defense in that position. This got to be too much as soon as the e-file opened up. Okay, how are they going to deal with the knight? Okay, queen c7 there. Oh, giving up the dark square bishop, huh? Really? You could do that. I already feel like I could go into a position without queens where I have the bishop pair. Knight takes, queen d4. Alright, I believe I definitely take here first. b3, bishop b2 is another idea. We're going to see about that. My opponent's still thinking here. Not surprising. It is very complicated. Oh, I have knights here. What am I talking about? Matter of taste, I guess, huh? No, that's a full rook. I'm not even quite sure if it's not the exchange. I don't even know if they're going to be able to get the rook. Get that knight back. Take the bishop, queen takes, pawn push is another one. Can't argue with that one though. There's no way. Okay. Oh, wait a second. They just went with this, but I could win a pawn. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. I have b2 covered. This knight is the star player, MVP. Let's just go with it. I've lead in development, space, and material right now. Throw one more move in. Okay, queen d4 was my idea. Defend c4, welcomes a queen exchange. Oh, queen e7 could be played, but I am lining something else up. Maybe I should try to do something against this pawn. Against the king, rather. b3, bishop b2. To keep the queens on or not? I feel like I could get some attack if with my bishop pointing right at g7. I mean, there is always a way to blunt the diagonal with f6. I have my pick. I'm going to go with this. Notice with queen takes, pawn takes, my bishop is already free to come out. So I'm helping. Whoa, this does not seem right. There's no way. Oh no, it's not the right move. Because I get knight d5 with tempo on the queen and e7. It's a double attack against the queen even. Yeah, this should be, there should be some refutation to this. Knight d5, okay, there's some knight checks. Knight d5, knight takes, I'm not worried about that. Knight here, knight takes knight, that's not a worry. Knight d5 has to be the correct move. Yeah, there's no question there. Alright, let's take that rook. I get the bishop. I get more than the bishop. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop h6, the rook is trapped. Okay. Up a pawn and the exchange in that one. c5 stops rook a6, although I don't know how fearful I would be of that. I think I'm just going to run with b3, bishop b2. Yeah. Alright, they're still thinking here. Alright, they're on my bishop. Let's just back up here. All right, let's take that guy. And I just want to open this position up. I feel like just giving up this pawn just to open up a file. I am up the exchange, maybe that's enough. Or maybe there's absolutely no reason to do that. What about queen d2 with queen h6 and just f4? That's simple. This knight, I don't want to allow this knight to jump into c6 so easily. No reason to give up a pawn, in other words. Alright, there's another tempo gaining move with rook c1. However, there is pressure on this point. I could take this pawn with check. Huh. Knight takes knight. There still might be something with this move. Knight check here, and then like this knight is kind of stranded. And maybe even pinned in some lines, because I could take here with check and remove a defender of g4. Could also gain a tempo with rook c1, but with the knight on e2 is defending that. I want to go with something simpler for time reasons, and maybe just not even related to time, just position. Why not go with something simpler? Less complicated, where maybe I'm up material is what I'm looking for, maybe. Knight takes here, knight takes here. Let's choose one. Yeah, let's. All right, yeah, let's go with this one. My knight's defended on d5. Let's see what happened here. Okay. So I could take this, I could win more material now. I take here, and then the queen is unprotected. So there's this c4 move. There's also a rook check. I think this is simpler. c4. Let's get one more move in. And f4, open up a file. I have the exchange up. More files open, the better. Okay. I think I just simply back up. Okay. Bishop b2, rook a to d1, f4. This knight can not rely on this e5 square. You can always be kicked. So I'm anticipating an eventual f6, which means maybe there's ideas of c5, bishop c4 getting on that diagonal. Okay. Are Knight takes pawn with check. That can't be bad. Let's go with it. And let me hit the queen first. Pawn takes, and then a pawn push with check. Okay, I'm in check. King h2 or h1, I don't think it really matters. Maybe queen d4 is going to be played, but I could just avoid the queen exchange, can't I? Just going to go to h1 off of this open diagonal. Yeah, just h1 is fine. All right, let's see. Bishop c3, pawn takes, e3. Not really a fan of that. Pawn takes pawn. Are we doing time-wise? Less than 9 in that? I'm under 10, just under 10. It's the lowest amount of time. Simple continuation is There's a firecracker in the background. All right, what about bishop c3, queen takes pawn? Let's just go with this. Okay, and now takes there. Okay, they're trying something sneaky with this, I guess. But this is gonna open right up. Pawn takes. Pawn push. I just take with this pawn, keep my bishop defended. Whoa! That is a very, very, very committal move. That's giving up on defending this g7 square with the pawns alone. Now it's down to the pieces. Yeah. More dangerous than a firecracker. Bishop b2. Bishop b2, I guess. Alright. Queens are off. This was my idea to first take here with check. And then recapture like this. Alright, now push. I get to enter on the 7th rank now. Alright, my idea here was queen c3. Defends the pawn, threatens discovery. Opposite the king. Alright. Whew. c5. Seems like the right idea. I want to get my bishop on an adjacent diagonal. There's two color complexes that are weakened if you move upon two squares. So this diagonal, certainly this diagonal as well. Okay. Is there any rush with taking this bishop? Knight takes bishop, rook takes. Bishop takes pawn, rook to b8, rook d7. Knight somewhere to attack my rook. My rook could safely come to c7, I believe. Let's go with that. Alright, that queen is gone. Alright, I believe I just push here, open this position up. I could even consider like rook takes pawn stuff here. Or bishop g4. Yeah, I like bishop g4 better. He's unprotected. You guys hear those fireworks? Bishop takes pawn, rook to b8, rook to d7, knight f6 or e5, knight e5 here. My rook is fine. If knight f6, rook here. Oh. Hang on. Maybe, my idea was this. Bishop takes, rook b8, rook d7, but knight f6. I have rook e7 too, though. I could play rook to d7 also. But I want to rip the heart out of this structure, that middle pawn. Then these guys are weak links, the A and C pawns. I think I could do this safely. Bishop takes pawn, rook b8, rook d7, knight d6. If knight f6, I play rook to e7. Maybe not. Maybe it's not as easy. There might be rook to e8. Rook takes rook, hitting my pawn. No, rook takes pawn wouldn't be a threat in that position, because my bishop could play to f3. Okay, I'm going to go with this. Spent far too long on that game, and as a result, this game. Okay, this one I could do anything. Pawn push. Yes, it opens up this diagonal, and I'm prepared for bishop takes pawn with check. I don't want to open up the A file, so I believe I go with B4. If A3, bishop C3, everything is still fine. Let's go with that. I think that position is close to being held by just a thread. Oh no! Is it my move? No, it's not my move. Oh, that could have been bad. Definitely could have been bad to make that pre-move. Okay, this I'm not afraid of. I think the bishop wants to hang out on c4 eventually, pointing at f7. Maybe not. Maybe I go to a6. I don't want to wind up in any pin if my bishop is on this square. There's two different routes to get to c4. I like this one better. Bishop a6 to c4. Okay. Now check first. So I'm going to be winning more material or mate happening soon. Okay, my opponent resigned in this one. Alright, good game. Yeah, that's definitely a little bit different. That bishop b5 move. Your minor pieces kind of get cluttered. Let's close out of that. What game? Okay, this one here is now going into a mate in 2. Alright, good game. Let's close out of that one. And this is my only move. Well, it's the only reasonable move. Keep the bishop on the diagonal. So this is where I could give a check. And then this pawn will be in a pin. I believe I definitely want to get on this diagonal. So let's hang on for a second. Where are we at time-wise? Less than 6 in that one. Okay. Queen check or bishop check? No, bishop belongs there. Let's get him there. And now bishop here. Yeah, bishop c4. So I have this square available, but I have to watch out for that knight. My queen is hit. How do I keep her very active? Right here would be active. Well, yeah, it is, but I want to maybe play f4. I am threatening this pawn. It's very active. Let's keep the queen right here. I'm hitting c7 and f5, so that pesky knight. Oh, I don't care if I lose my bishop, really. Let's get my other rook involved. Rook and pawn endgame. I'm up a pawn. I have both my rooks active. Both of us have flight squares. Even on time in this one. There's only 2 games left. Very big time difference here. Okay. So black needs to proceed with caution here. Material is balanced, but this guy is a killer. Oh, you know what? I also have this move available, which is important to note. There might be some tricks with queen h6. If, let's say, h6 right now, just making a flight square, it's mate in 1. So it's not easy, at least at this moment, for black to create a flight square. Still no movement here. Okay, they gave up the knight. So I am up a pawn, rook and pawn endgame, and these guys are both weak. So where should my rooks be placed? 7th rank is always something to consider. Rook a4 to put pressure here and even stop the black rook of thinking about putting pressure on my a pawn. Some structure with b3, rook a4. King f1 or e3. I'll just move my king over. No. Let's go with e3. Yeah, e3 is fine. Maybe king here to here. I don't know. I think both are fine. What more? H6. Rook F to D1. How else to improve? Like to defend C7 and F5, D6, but then this is going to be weak. Okay. I think you kind of had to do something like that. Alright, let's take queens on or off. Alright, rook D5. Okay, the queens are still on the board. Alright. Rook here, I guess. Yep, rook F2, D1. My other rook is probably going to play to C1. Okay, they are crawled up into a ball here. Let's do this. In case my pawn is attacked, I could play rook C2. Alright, I think I just want to back up. No, why back up? Let's think forward first. Bishop here. I don't want to take the knight. No, maybe backing up is the correct thing, so my rook could see this directly. Yeah, let's back up. Okay, the king is entering. King F1, E4, my candidate moves. King F1. What's going to happen in this one? Bishop E6 gets rid of the bishop pair. This pawn, he could turn out to be quite scary. Okay, if E4, F5 is maybe annoying. Let's just drop back. Rook D2 to C2. Just be careful, like, well, I was going to say, like, some rook move if we trade a pair of rooks and I have this B4 move. King and pawn endgame is pretty much going to be won. I am playing this position here, a pawn up. 4 versus 3. Still have to be accurate. 8 minutes to 6.5 here. I'm starting to think maybe bishop D5 was better. Like, if bishop E6, now I have to do something about my bishop, whereas before it was just going to be defended. However, bishop here, I could take the knight. Even that could be a little bit tricky. This pawn is I really have to keep a close eye on him. He's 2 steps away. I mean, he's not passed yet, but he's close to that goal line. Definitely. Okay, so we're apparently looking to trade here. I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to do this, and I think I'm going to scoop up this pawn now, because b4 now follows. King and pawn endgame. Rook here, b4. King d5, a mass exchange on c5, followed with king e2. King b4, e4, king a3 here. My pawns would be fast enough, wouldn't they? Hopefully I have enough time to calculate. Well, let's go back over to that one since I have more time here. If rook here, b4, king d5. I don't even have to capture. I could do other stuff. Or I could just move my king in. I don't have to go with b4. Well, if I don't play b4, maybe there's a5. Rook here, I'm definitely playing this. Rook c6, probably still play it. Rook c6, b4, king d6. If king here, I get to advance my pawn a little bit, my candidate pawn. He's not passed, but he's the candidate pawn. No opposing black pawn in the same file. So as a general rule, I'll want to have him ahead of the tail pawn. Okay, movement over here, b5. Having now an outpost for this knight. Interesting move. I guess rook to c1. Yeah, rook to c1. I still need a flight square. Yeah, you have to be cautious maybe of opposite color bishop ending in this one too. Like knight here, maybe just give him up and then try and show this bishop is is good over here. Oh, wait a second. What about queen d4 right now? Pressure on this pawn. How do you defend it? I'm going to go with that. f4 maybe. For a second, I thought this rook captured my rook. Ugh. Seeing things. King here. It's like, did I just blunder a rook? Okay, they have to have lateral defense. Now there's... this back rank is weakened. Slightly weakened. I think back the bishop all the way up, because I think the next step for this rook is here. Do I kick this knight away? Pawn push here. Where's that knight going? You could go here. Would I be okay with dropping this pawn? What about pawn push knight here? That could be a little scary. I should be able to defend here though. How am I doing time-wise? Less than 4 minutes there. Gotta make a move. Alright, I don't want to make any pawn weaknesses. Let's drop my bishop back so my rook on the c file can do stuff. Just scoop that pawn up. I'm up another pawn in that one. Oh, now I have rook c7 ideas. Maybe another piece could be hitting at this, as indirect as it may be. Knight here, I could scoop that pawn up. Okay, we have movement. What about rook a5? Everything's defended. He's defensive and aggressive. 7th rank is covered. There's checks here or here. He can't go too far. 3 minutes in this one. Okay, bishop back. Stopping rook entry point. What about h3 with then f4 ideas? Let's go with that. Gotta make a move. 3 minutes here, 6 minutes here. My opponent's going to be firing off moves a lot faster in this game. I want to trade one pair of rooks. Although I'm not sure. Both my rooks are active. Okay, so what's the story here? f4 is going to kick the knight away to a not so fun square. I'll be okay even... this bishop's going to be a pain. Maybe. let's try this. It's very weakening. Okay. Rook check and then here. Yeah, let's go with rook check and then rook a6. Where's the knight gonna be? Knight here. Mate 1. Okay, now rook a6 and grab that pawn. Let's try it. The rook might be able to get active. There might be some active counterplay against f2. I would have liked to think about this one a bit more. There might be some way to pinpoint f2, and we might be seeing that soon. So, all right, let's try this. Maybe I could get to this point faster. No move here? Okay. Yeah, I'll be able to get to this point faster. Rook b7, rook a7. Yeah, I'll be able to get to that faster. Rook b7 and then rook a to a7. They still didn't move in this one. Down to less than 2. Where will the knight decide to go? Knight c6, queen takes d6, queen takes e3, king h2. There's some threats here. Some bishop sacks and stuff. Okay, so now I just play rook to a7. Pigs. Wild pigs. On that 7th rank. Less than a minute and a half here. Oh no, it says my opponent has disconnected in this one. Okay, hang on. Less than 2 for me here. Run over here, king. Oh no, I feel like it is going to be a win, and it says they've been disconnected. They were disconnected a little bit earlier too. This is a bad time for that. Alright, take g4. g4. No, hang on. Oh, they moved? No, they didn't move. Oh, they returned in that game. Good. Alright, rook b7 to b6 and then rook a6. Now, I want to do this. Let's stop that king from going any further. Gone far enough. Oh, I think there might be a tactical shot there. My opponent's saying in this one that they crashed again. They have less than 10. It's your move. We gotta go. Hurry. Okay, they made a move. They definitely made a move. Oh, I could sacrifice here, maybe? No, it's not quite working. I don't have much time in this one. I gotta go back to this game. This should be mate, though, in just 2 moves. Yeah, this is mate in 2. Or 3. Rook here, rook b6. King here, king e4 first. Okay. I think this is going to turn out to be the last game. That one's finishing up soon. Mate. King here. And check. Queen takes, bishop takes, king takes, rook c7, rook here. Queen takes, pawn is there. Is this knight going to play here? That would be a bad move, actually, because then I have that sacrifice on this square. What about queen, or king here, queen here? That's not looking so much fun. Rook here. Oh, they resign in this one. Okay. Good game. Let's close out. This is the last game. I have a time advantage. Big one. I feel like there should be something here. Queen takes, bishop takes, king takes. Rook c7. There's rook e7. But if the knight moves to try and put pressure here, then I have that sequence of moves on g7. About rook d3, simply defending this pawn. Or rook d2, welcoming this capture. No, I'm not so quick to give that up, I don't think. Rook d3, if bishop e4, I drop back. I'm going to go with that. If there's any crazy sacrifices here, I could always give some material back to get the queens off. All right. Is the knight going to go here? Oh, now there isn't any... That's a bit of a pain. Actually, there's some tricky threat here. Bishop takes, rook takes, knight f3. That's no fun. What about bishop here? No. Man, how did I let these pieces get so active? I played f4, that's why. Do I have to crawl up into a ball a little bit? There had to have been a better way to play this one. What about bishop here? No. Rook f2? No, there's still that bishop move. Rook f1? Oh my goodness, take my rook off an open file. Shouldn't there be something here? This knight is a giant pest on h4. Who said a knight on the rim is grim? You're wrong. This knight is a monster. Bishop d1? Maybe. I think I'm going to go with that. Yeah, let's go with that. Yes, everybody loves a retreating move. I got to watch over that f3 square. Less than 15. Time trouble blunder? And my opponent has lost so much time. Imagine how much more time my opponent would have. This is the second time they're logged off. Less than 4 seconds, less than 3, less than 2. Are they going to move? Don't tell me they disconnected. Oh, man. That's how this game's going to end? No way. Not cool. Oh, that's right when it got intense. Oh, don't you love internet connections? Oh, man. What a not cool way to have this one end. Like, I don't know. This was a strictly defensive move, this last one I played. Yes. What some of you are saying there. How that is definitely too bad. I don't like that at all. It really doesn't give me a good feeling at all. Win, lose, or draw. I just wanted the game to finish. Ah, man. He's, this rook on a6 isn't so great, but, how's my bishop here looking? He's not the greatest piece in the world. I guess I have other ideas of bishop here. Kicking the rook away, but how do I enter? It's like just barely covered. I guess to maybe make progress, I could be doing moves like king h2, or I'm sorry, rook f2 and then g3. Kick the knight back, and then get my bishop back on this diagonal. Not sure. Good game, though. Oh, man. All right. What can you do? All right, let me close out of this. Thank you to the 4 of you who played. Alan Chess, Hamid 9021, CR Chessman, and Zwen again? I guess that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure people will correct me on that one. All right. Thank you for doing the simul.